Hello, and welcome to The Best of the Nest, a program produced by television production students of Armstrong High School that takes a look at things from the students' point of view. I'm Bretland Johns of AHS-TV, and today we'll be taking a look at the lead-up to the AHS football team's playoff run. First up, our own Dylan Gagini sat down with Caden Olson to talk about the lead in the football team's playoff experience. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Dylan Gagini of AHS-TV. Today, I'm joined by Caden Olson to talk about the Riverhawks football season. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself for the viewers?
So, my name's Caden Olson. I'm a junior here at Armstrong High School. I play basketball and football, and I'm the quarterback for the Armstrong football team.
Thank you. We're going to take a closer look at what fellow Armstrong students think about the sports teams and their performance this year.
Hello, I'm Wyatt Tutek of AHS-TV, and today we're asking the students about the sports this year.
What makes Armstrong volleyball worthwhile?
We're all a family and we all have each other's backs.
How are you guys feeling going into playoffs this year?
We have a pretty good feeling. We won our past couple games, but they were pretty close, but I think we're going to be okay on to the next round.
How do you think the team will do next year without all the seniors?
I think it'll be a big adjustment, but I think they'll be okay.
This is all we have with Mackenzie Egley.
Hello, I'm Mason Carney with Jack Valasek, shooting guard for Riverhawks basketball. Today I'm going to ask him some questions about winter sports. Being a winter sport, what are some things that a basketball player must do in preparation for the season?
Well, you have to get ready mentally and physically. Physically, you have to be conditioned because basketball, you're out there, you're up and down the court all the time, the whole entire game. Mentally, you have to be ready, but players will be saying stuff to you the whole game. You just have to keep focused on what you're doing the whole game.
And getting ready physically, what does that entail in the off season? Is there things that the school is involved in with physical?
Oh yeah, we have summer workouts and off-season sessions that a lot of conditioning and skill work that'll help our program build over the years.
And with this physical and mental training, how do you expect to perform with your current talents this season?
Well, we did lose 3 seniors last year that were big contributors to our team, but we have a lot of guys that are stepping up, and I think they'll fill in just nice and make our team just like last year.
Nice. And do you think the AHS basketball team can live up to the football performance this season?
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, I definitely think we can. It'll be exciting to see what we can do this year.
Very exciting stuff. Do you have anything to say for AHS in particular at the moment?
Not really. Just keep staying strong and do what's right.
Attitude, honor, and success.
Well, there you have it, folks. Some promising athletic season straight from the Hawks Peak. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Wyatt. I'm Dylan Gagini of AHS-TV for those of you just joining us, and I'm joined today by Caden Olson to talk about the football season so far and his thoughts on it. So, Caden, how do you think your overall performance has been this year?
So, I think my overall performance has been pretty good this year. I've had a lot of goals coming into this season, such as throwing for at least 2,000 yards and showing everyone that I'm not just a passer, but I can also make plays on my feet. I think that I've done a pretty good job of that this year. Last week, I achieved the 2,000-yard mark against Indiana, and we also clinched the playoff spot. So, I mean, not just for me, but as a team, that's definitely something we wanted to do this year, was make it to the playoffs. And we've successfully done that, and we're looking to get another win tonight against Montour.
That's right. So, what improvements do you think the team has made from last year when we 4-4?
So last year we had kind of an iffy season. This year, I think over the off season we've made lots of improvements, and one of the big ones has definitely been our time spent in the weight room. Coach Fabian has had a big emphasis on being in the weight room and how you have to take pride in gaining weight. And even though we're a little bit undersized this year, I feel like that us putting time in the weight room has definitely helped us in the long run and have had a big impact on our season this year.
I would agree in that as well. So to segue off that, what improvements do you think you'll need to make next year due to losing some of your seniors who are starters and stuff like that?
Personally, I think it's just going to be getting the chemistry down with all my receivers and everything. Next year I'll be a senior, so I'll definitely have to take the leadership in the locker room, on the field. But it's definitely not something that I should be worried about. Obviously, losing the seniors is a big deal, but you always have the freshmen and the underclassmen that need to step up and take their role and do everything they can to fulfill everything to the best of their abilities.
Yeah. So this year we ended our normal season with a record of 7-3. And when you came into the season at the beginning, did you expect it to be higher or lower? What were you thinking in that?
I think at the beginning of the season, really our main goal was to make the playoffs. And with the 7-3 season, I think looking back at it, we should have had more wins than 7 wins. But it's over, it's done with, and we just got to focus on the playoffs and trying to make a playoff run for Armstrong High School.
That's right. And so how have you been preparing yourself, like mentally, physically, for the playoffs, seeing as this would be your first time in the playoffs?
Yeah, so if you look back, Armstrong hasn't been to the playoffs very many times. So this is definitely a big deal for Armstrong High School. And obviously with everything going on right now, we just have to focus everything out and just focus on the game and paying attention to winning right now.
Yeah. So do you have any plans for the future that you'd be willing to disclose with the public today?
So over the summer, as of now I don't have any offers, but over the summer I was at a ton of camps, and throughout the season I've been in contact with a lot of coaches from Western Michigan, Penn, Yale, Rutgers, just to name a few. And we've definitely been talking, and I'm building relationships with those coaches throughout the season. I've sent them my highlight tapes. They've been watching my games, so I think that after the season, maybe the recruiting process will pick up a little bit and head for the better.
Yeah. So as of right now, where we're at in the season, what would you have to say your favorite memory has been?
I wouldn't really say I have a specific memory that's like the most important to me, but I think just every Friday night, especially the home games, is just a different feeling and something that you won't forget for the rest of your life. Just being out with your friends under the Friday night lights and the kids that you grew up with and experiencing everything that you have is just something that you won't forget and you look forward to every Friday.
Yeah, I can agree with you. After all the times I spent on the field with you guys, it's a great time. So what do you think you're going to miss the most when this season inevitably comes to the end?
I think really just being around some of my best friends every single day. After your senior year, you'll never get those times back. You'll never be able to have fun in the locker room, joke around, do everything that you do with your teammates on a daily basis after school. You'll never be able to walk out in the field under the Friday night lights and see your whole school in the stands ready to support you. So that's just one thing that I think I'll probably miss after the season.
Yeah. So do you have anything else to say?
I think just be ready tonight. We're going to come out, going to beat Montour and get the first playoff win in Armstrong history.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement. Hope anyone who's willing to make it shows up tonight. It's going to be a big game. Well, that's all for this segment of Best of the Nest. I'd like to thank Caden Olson for joining me today to talk about the amazing sport of football.
Thanks, Dylan. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more AHS-TV's Best of the Nest.
Going on to college signals independence, but independence doesn't mean you have to go it alone. At IUP, we'll assign you a guide from day one, someone you can turn to for advice or encouragement. And our Q&A center will point you in the right direction and get you the answers you need. We know a little help will take you a long way. We believe in you. IUP.
Hello, I'm Mason Conroy from AHS-TV, and I'm here with Noah Shuttleworth to talk a little bit about our Thanksgiving break. So Noah, do you have any plans coming up in this upcoming Thanksgiving break?
Just the usual, hanging out with my family, watching football, eating a lot of food.
Nice. Do you all go somewhere as a family together for Thanksgiving?
Usually we all meet at one person's house, but we usually do like both sides of my family, so we eat dinner with my mother's side and then my dad's side usually. We go usually to my mom's first and then to my dad's later on in the day.
Nice. You have a big family?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Guys eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite family dishes or any certain grandma that makes a nice pumpkin pie you like?
I do like pumpkin pie. Stuffing, turkey, honestly all of it.
I'm a big fan of pumpkin pie
Yeah,
myself.
I love pumpkin pie with whipped cream on top.
Nice. So do you have any certain family traditions that you like to speak about?
I mean, we don't do anything crazy. Usually just the usual, like I said, go to both sides of my family. And then usually when we get to my dad's, it's usually time for football. So we watch football and go from there.
Is this an all-day type of thing, or
Yeah,
just
yeah, it usually is. It takes like the majority of the day.
nice? So after Thanksgiving, it's always Christmas. Is that a big holiday, your family, that you like to go somewhere again?
It is. My mom loves the Hallmark and all that stuff. Always on. Can't stand it.
I know this weekend's Friday or light up night in Ford City. You gonna attend that?
Is that Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday. No, I can't remember. Pit game. We're going to the pit game. So.
Oh yeah, big pit game.
Yep.
Well, do you have any certain items on your wish list for Christmas this year?
I do. I want a couple pairs of shoes. Maybe some golf stuff and just clothes. Really.
Nice.
Not much, but.
Do you have any family traditions for Christmas?
For Christmas Eve, we usually go to my mom's side of the family. We go to her house. She lives in Rural Valley, so it's a little bit of a drive there. But we usually go there Christmas Eve, open up all their gifts and stuff, and then Christmas Day, I think actually this year we're having it at my house. So usually my dad's side of the family will come over to my house and we'll celebrate it there.
Yeah, that's how mine looks too. Always Christmas Eve, big party, go to family's aunt's house and have a blast.
Yep.
So this Thanksgiving, there's gonna be a few football games this year. Do you know who plays?
Cowboys, Lions, Bears, Packers maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Saints play.
Do you have any fantasy football guys on those teams?
I do. I have CeeDee Lamb from the Cowboys. I have the Packers running back if he's back in time. Obviously he's hurt right now. I think that's all though. I don't have that many people, but.
Oh, I know last time we talked about fantasy football, you had a pretty decent record. You made some nice trades.
I did.
Have any new trades or new pickups, new waiver wire pickups that you like?
I do actually. My team looks a lot different once again since last time we were on here. I brought in a couple new players actually, 2 new running backs. I brought in a new receiver and just some waiver pickups, but my team's looking decent. I'm actually playing Adam this week, and like we said on the last one, he was undefeated, and he's still undefeated.
He's still undefeated. He's still 10-0.
He is. So it's a pretty big game. His tight end didn't do too much though, so I think I have a fair chance to pull this one out.
Nice. Any notable players that you like to mention that you maybe made a trade for or waiver wire?
Yeah. So I actually recently, probably within the last week, honestly, I think it was this last week, I traded Austin Eckler, which was one of my starting running backs, and I received Aaron Jones and CeeDee Lamb in return, which are 2 very good players. But I figured I could afford that because I still have Dalvin Cook in the backfield. So, I mean, I think it worked out in both of our favors.
Yeah, I know last week, the week you made that trade, CeeDee Lamb put up some big numbers.
He did, 28 points.
Nice.
Yep.
I made that trade with you for Tyreek Hill. My team's looking pretty decent.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a shot against Adam this week?
I do. I think that his tight end not doing too good hurts him very much. So I just think it gives me a better shot to pull out a big win because obviously he's 10-0 or 11-0, and I mean he's the best team there. So if I can pull out this upset, then I think it's big for every team in our fantasy football league.
Nice. Well, that's all we have for today, folks. Thank you.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and who can change the world of a 5th grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
And And we're back with more of AHS-TV's Best of the Nest. I'm Brelin Johns of AHS-TV. Next up, our own Jay Dudak takes a look at the effects that social media can have on our teens. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Jay Dudak of AHS-TV. Today, I'm joined by Jessa Kinter and Andrew Lattisaw to talk about the effects of social media on teenagers. Would you please tell us a little about yourself for our viewers?
Sure. My name is Andrew Lattisaw. I'm a local State Farm agent here in Kittanning. 4 years ago, almost to the day, I started a YouTube channel. My first video was called Kittanning, Greatest City in the World, and I tried to just promote positivity in Kittanning and then throughout Armstrong County.
Thank you. What about you, Jessa?
My name's Jessa Kinter. I'm a senior here at Armstrong, and I have the pleasure of being the senior class president, the NHS president, as well as many other things, so glad to be here.
Thank you. We're now going to take a closer look at what AHS has to say about the cancel culture phenomenon fueled through social media.
Hello, I'm Nicole Benvenuti of AHS-TV, and today we're taking a look at cancel culture. Let's see what AHS has to say about it.
What do you know about cancel culture?
From my experience with cancel culture, I believe that it's when you are liable for something that possibly happened a long time ago. At least that's what I think is unjust about it, is that you can be blamed for things that you did a long time ago when in today's world you could be a different person than you were, say, 10 years ago.
Cancel culture is pretty much just like a group of people online, or sometimes even in person, that just cancel an individual in society.
Just blaming people and canceling them for no reason.
Do you think cancel culture is a good or bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing because I think when cancel culture happens, it's a bunch of people coming together to just rag on one person when those people themselves might be liable for the same things that person is being blamed for. And I think it's unfair to blame someone for something that they may have done a long time ago, or something that they shouldn't have done, but they have owned up to it and they know it's wrong, and I don't think that they should be blamed for it.
It's a bad thing because we cancel people for no reason.
I think in some cases it's good, but most of the time it's bad because people are getting canceled for pretty much small things.
So yeah, I think overall it should be not in like our world.
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from the Hawks' beak. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm Jay Dudak of AHS-TV for those of you just joining us, and I am joined today by Jessa Kinter and Andrew Lattisaw to talk about the effects of social media on teenagers. So, do you believe social media is a positive or a negative thing?
I mean, I've kind of had the beneficiary of like growing up in social media. I'm quite a bit older than you guys, so I don't think it's positive or negative, to be honest. I think social media is completely neutral to me. It's just a tool. I think it can be used in positive ways and it can be used in very, very negative ways. But it just depends person to person on how are you going to use it.
What's like a positive way of using it?
Yeah, so I kind of had this. Like, I grew up in Facebook time was when I went to college. So I was doing Facebook when you had to have a college email address in order to actually be on Facebook. So it's kind of similar to what Clubhouse is doing today, where there was an exclusivity to it. So I can remember when Pitt became available and I signed up for Facebook, and it was like the coolest thing ever. But at that point, once the social media feed started to hit, I realized, like, hey, everyone here is now basically a media company. Like, every single person has the opportunity to do that. So whatever you're going to put on social media has the opportunity to put positivity or negativity into the world. I was at a moment 4 years ago where I was like, I could either just get out of this completely or I'm going to go all in and try to do as much positive as I can do. So that's when I started making videos to promote local business and to try to promote positivity around town, because, I mean, you have negative people in your life too, I'm sure. And so the more negativity that kind of tries to overtake us, we need to be just as positive to try to put positivity in the world. So whether it's a TikTok video or an Instagram post or a YouTube channel or whatever it might be, like, every single one of you has the potential to be a media company that can put positivity into the world.
What about you, Jessa?
I would completely agree that it's very neutral. It's very dependent on how you choose to use it. Again, growing up completely with Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of these different types of social media, it's a very big influence on a lot of teenagers these days. And I think, it's just how you choose to use it. We've been, taught growing up that always, think about what you post, what you put out there. And I think it's just very dependent on how kids and teenagers and adults, even everybody, chooses to use it and put their positivity or, unfortunately, sometimes their negativity out there.
Okay, how has social media affected your recent life?
It's affected me in a lot of positive ways. Although, when you make videos or you put yourself out there, it becomes something where you're being judged one way or another. So, a lot of people really liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. So, you're going to hear from everybody. But overall, I've had a very positive experience. So, we've actually, I'm a local pastor as well, so we've had a lot of people connect with our church because of a lot of the things that we do and promote on social media. I'm a local business owner too, so I've gotten a lot of customers through videos that say, hey, we like what you're doing and I'd love to partner with that. And what's really neat is I've been able to come and do stuff like this. So every time I'm able to come and like interact with you guys or interact with anybody, it's like it opens doors and creates friendships over time that I've really benefited from. So for me, it's been a very positive experience, at least over the last 4 years.
Good, that's good. Jessica?
I would say, again, it's pretty much had a very positive experience recently for me. Within the school, I think it's so great to have social media because all of the things that we get to do within just the school in general, our clubs, our classes, we get to share all of that with the community, and it's a great way to interact and connect with the community. We have different clubs like Leo Club or Sad and Key where we get to do different events for the community, and I think it's great because we can share, all of these things that's going on in the school, and it's a good interaction between, everybody getting to see what's exactly going on here and all the positivity that we get to bring.
Yeah, and even piggybacking off of yours, our principals run a social media account, which it gladly represents the positive that the school has to offer. Have you ever experienced pressure on social media?
I think everyone experiences pressure on any kind of media, but I don't know, I feel like younger people probably have more social pressure to either participate in things or be a part of something. I don't really feel that when I use social media. For me, it's more of it's not explicit, it's more like implicit. So it's just I'm kind of always in the background of maybe I should get something like that, or maybe I should do a video like that, or get on this trend, or whatever it might be. So there's always a pressure, but I don't feel like it's explicit for me in the same way that it is for younger people. But maybe you could speak to that more.
Yeah, I've definitely had a mix of both. Unfortunately, you have all the positivity, you have all the great comments out there, and you do get the negative ones as well. And that is sometimes the unfortunate part. I mean, it is great to hear from everybody, and I do like to hear everybody's input. What are things we can change? What are things that we can add to what we're doing? But there is, unfortunately, definitely some negativity out there when it comes to just everybody having, their 2 cents into what we're doing.
How many hours do you think the average kid spends on social media per day?
Yeah, I tried to take what I do and then I tried to double it. So I would guess that between YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, I'm probably on social media between 2 and 3 hours a day. If I would add up all the small times that I take on my phone. So I'm going to guess between 4 and 6 hours, but I have no idea if that's correct.
If you could limit it more, would you, or?
For myself?
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, maybe I would take some of the interactions out because it's real easy to get stuck scrolling. I actually had to delete TikTok off my phone because TikTok is so stinking addicting. I couldn't get away from it. So I got rid of that. So I do try to limit in those ways. But a lot of what I do and a lot of how I do business and trying to put positivity into the world and make videos and all that kind of stuff, I kind of have to be on there. It's part of my job. And so I probably wouldn't limit myself a whole lot more than what I do unless I was just going to get rid of it completely.
Yeah. Jessica, how many hours do you spend?
Unfortunately, I would probably say that I am in that 4 to 6 hour range. The TikTok and all the social media rabbit hole is definitely can get you caught quickly. You are just scrolling and scrolling, YouTube, TikTok, all of those things. So I would definitely agree. There's time well spent on social media, but there's definitely time that I could cut back on, just a little bit. extra spent on it.
Yeah, I know for me, I definitely get caught in that rabbit hole.
It was really interesting to me when I got an iPhone because they have you can track now all the time that you spend on different apps. And when I first got that, I was like, it was very enlightening because there were some days where I might watch YouTube in the background of when I'm working or something like that, or listening to a podcast or something, and I'm like, I was on my phone for 11 hours today. Like, that's insane. But
it's very eye-opening to sometimes see those numbers pop up.
But it's good too, because then you have some data that you can actually make some decisions on your life. How am I going to limit these things?
So, where do you fall in the spectrum, and why do you think you spend so much time on socials?
So, well, yeah, I'm in that 2 to 3 hour range most of the time. I actually had COVID like a month ago, so then I was on a lot more because I didn't have anything else to do. But that's where I fall on the spectrum, and I spend a lot of time there because it is very addicting. I can remember when Facebook came out with the news feed, and it was like, you could kind of see at that point in time, like, oh, this is turning into something else. Because when we first started social media, everyone had their own page, and the only way that you saw what anybody was doing is like, you had to go visit their page in order to see the most recent things that they posted. But when it turned into every person's media company, man, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Jessa?
Yeah, I definitely fall into that probably 4 to 6, even more, maybe sometimes range of hours that I spend on there. But I think, again, it's a mix of not only, being interested in it, getting stuck scrolling, but also I think just, it's almost addicting in the way that once you post something, once you share something, you kind of want to immediately see what the feedback is. You know what I mean? It's very, whether it's simply just an Instagram post or something on Snapchat or, to a whole thing where we're posting on Facebook, inviting the community into the school for an event. It's always like very interesting to kind of see, what are people going to react to this? What are they going to think? Are they going to say negative things, positive things? So I think that definitely falls into why I get so stuck on it sometimes.
Well, I know that you're really into pushing that positivity on social media.
Yeah.
But do you wish you were never introduced to social media, or?
Not at all, no. I actually wish I had been introduced to it earlier. I wish I had been maybe your age when Facebook came out or something, because it can be a really positive tool. So I just, no is the answer. I enjoy it too much.
I would say the same, probably. At times it can have its bad things, and it's definitely, I think if you spend too much of that time on there, you can get caught in a lot of that negativity, but I'm good with it. I think that I'm good with either.
Okay, for our last question, do you have anything else that you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
Yeah, so I guess I would just say you have to just be aware of what you're doing. It's so easy to get caught up in these apps, and it turns into just like mindless scrolling. And so just be aware of the things you post, how they can be seen, and you can use it to your advantage. If you have a real positive image on social media, if you have a real positive message for the community or for it's gonna reflect on future employers. It's gonna reflect if you own a business someday. It's gonna reflect well on yourself and the community. And so just be aware of how you're using it. It's a tool, and it can be a great, great thing.
That's great advice. Jessica?
Yes, I completely agree with that. I would just say, always have a positive outlook when using it. Think about all the connections, all the different things that you can do through social media, and just keep that always in mind when posting, when sharing, when everything.
Well, that's all for this segment of Best of the Nest. I'd like to thank Jessica Kinter and Andrew Ladisaw for joining me today to talk about the influence of social media on teenagers.
Well, that's our show for this week. Best of the Nest is produced by students enrolled in television production courses at Armstrong High School. Join us again next time for the look at what is happening around the Armstrong High School in the student's point of view. Until then, from our nest to yours, have a great week.